was really, really kind of wowed by the commission check that I got for doing so. Screw it. Let's just, I'll be detached about what I'm getting on per deal, just get into the business, start learning stuff pretty quickly. I actually, like, to this point, the only thing that I do credit that period in my career for is getting a lot of reps.
And it sounds like you kind of went through the same thing. And I joined a year ago, and like I mean, people asked me about it, I would talk about it, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, like you have, like, let's set up a coffee. Like, I wanted to stabilize my team.
But it is so rewarding to be able to pick all of their brains and then be able to take it back internally to my business and say, all right, what really is the most relevant to us here in our market with what I'm trying to build with our brand? What makes the most sense?
You're listening to Make Your Own Key. I started this podcast to have authentic conversations with agents and cover the hot topics about the real estate industry and how to build profitable real estate business and teams. There's so much fluff and ego surrounding this business, and it's tough to know what's true and what's not. We're going to talk about what it really takes to make it in real estate, the truth about teams and brokerages, and how to position yourself for the next 5 years in this business. After all, your brokerage isn't going to save you. Success in real estate is up to you. I'm Seth Lejeune. Thanks for listening. Find us on Instagram at Make Your Own Key. Let's go.
All right, Matt. Here we go. You got? Do I have your attention? Or you not?
You have
you're
my
not paying
attention.
attention?
I'm here.
Bone face down, sir.
I'm actually going on Do Not Disturb right now. That's
face down.
That's how much of my attention you have. Let's go.
Okay. So, I've been bringing people onto the channel here. I just wanted to touch base with you. You are a very special person because you are actually my co-sponsor at RIT.
Lucky me.
Yeah. And so what I've been doing is asking everyone just kind of about their business, how they came to Real, when you got licensed, how long you've been in the business. So why don't you just take us back to when you got your license and where'd you go? How'd you get to Real? And tell us about that journey a little bit.
Yeah. So I got licensed in 2015 or 2016. And my plan was to do what a lot of agents are thinking, I think, which is, get my license. I have a sales job right now, get my license, kind of do this thing, sell a couple of houses. And the goal is to transition full time. So I did that. I got my license. I had a full-time job. I very quickly got a deal under my belt, thanks to my sister and brother-in-law. I sold my sister's house, had a little bit of help doing it. Was really, really kind of wowed by the commission check that I got for doing so. And then pretty quickly after, I got an opportunity with my full-time job to move to Florida for a position that they had in Florida. I was single at the time, and I said, you know what, if I'm going to do this, now's the time to do it. So I got my license, sold one house, and then hung it up right away. So moved to Florida with my company for a full-time job, and always kind of stayed, I kept tabs on the industry, kept tabs on what people were doing back home in the industry, knowing that was kind of my end goal still, and it just got delayed. I ended up hating Florida. I hated living there. I hated the people. I hated the weather. I didn't meet anyone that I liked there that wasn't from a transplant from the Northeast. It's just totally different world, right? So I knew pretty quickly that wasn't going to be a long-term thing.
Sure.
And my company, surprise, no longer had a position for me back at home. So I finished out a year there. And then when I was coming back home, I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go all in on real estate. This is the time. So I called a buddy of mine at the time and kind of picked his brain. I know he was with Brokerage to Brokerage, just to ask where I should go. Remax, KW. There was a couple other options at that point that he was a part of. And he sold me unexpectedly on joining his team and becoming his listing partner, which, all of us now looking back know how ridiculous that sounds. Like, hey, I'm going to hire you to be my listing partner. You've never sold a house before.
Our friend Janelle has sold me on that listing specialist for years. And I will call her out, and I have her on here. I will call her out for that.
Please do. So, I said yes. Like the pitch was like, hey man, I want to get out of the business. I know that you've been doing sales forever. I know that the relationships you have, you'll be really good at this. And I looked at it like, all right, I know reps are important. I know that like, screw it. Let's just, I'll be detached about what I'm getting on per deal, just get into the business, start learning stuff pretty quickly. And I did. I actually, like, to this point, the only thing that I do credit that period in my career for is getting a lot of reps. Doing some deals, I was making like 25 to 30% clip on all those deals. So not really big commission checks, but I had the settlements. I now had the past clients, some referrals coming in. And at the same time, like, these weren't my people, right? Like, I realized pretty quickly that this wasn't my tribe within the industry. And I just didn't like the way that the team leader was doing things. It was all out of ego. Like, nothing mattered other than the dude's name being on everything and us kind of funding his lifestyle. Like, he would literally bring us in and be like, hey, we need to be more profitable. And on the other side, we're like, hey, man, you're taking 80% of our deals. What do you mean? How are you not profitable? Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't want to be responsible for someone else funding their lifestyle and then telling me that I'm not doing well enough. So at the same time, I got Chelsea pregnant with our first. Now we have 3, but that was at the first. And I made the decision like, hey, I can't go out for a couple months, have these guys cover for me, come back knowing that this isn't the right fit. So I bounced. And I told that team leader kind of where my head was at, what my plan was. He told me that I'm severely underestimating how hard this is, and I'll never be able to figure this out by myself.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, to make what I'm making right now, I got to sell on the bullshit splits I'm on. I got to sell one house a month. Like, if I can't commit to myself to figure out how to have one settlement a month, maybe I should figure something else out.
Anyway, I was about to say, yeah.
Like, I'm not a full-time realtor anyway. So like, that was my mindset going into it. So I moved from that KW to a different KW just to kind of change the scenery, and started having some quick success, just working the referrals and everything that we had coming in. And then the TC at that time on that team called me like a week later. She was like, hey, Matt, I kind of hate my life here too. Can I come work with you? Can I come work for you? And I was like,
she was the Renee Zellweger to your Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I was like, listen, like, this position I'm in. I just left. I have no pipeline. Like, I'm trying to figure this shit out for the first time now. Not really.
No healthcare.
But I said yes. And that kind of started like a revolve. Like, that was the theme of my career. I just kept saying yes and figuring this shit out.
Yep.
So I was then just a solo agent with a full-time administrator, no pipeline. Her and I were sitting down in like one of those tiny KW shared offices, shoulder to shoulder. I was like, all right, I guess just like send everyone a Facebook message and tell them I want to sell 100 houses this year. Like, I didn't have a clue what to tell her to do, anything. Sure. So that's how we started. Somehow that turned into doing a lot of business, comparatively speaking. And then I was looking for something a little bit new and came across Compass, got recruited to Compass. They wrote fat check to get us over there. I was a young kid, thought that we had it made. So I went over there with my then a new partner at that time, and we started a team with Compass. We grew that team to 14 agents, little under 70 million in sales, and really without having a clue what we were doing. And then it got to the point after our second year was up with Compass, we were really excited. We said, we came here as like 2 agents, not really doing shit. We grew it to X. We're going to go and negotiate a really good deal here. We're going to have it made. It's going to make a lot of sense on the back end, numbers and everything. And then to our surprise, we went to them after our 2-year contract was up, and they tried to lower our splits, which was much to our surprise. Now looking back, obviously that's what happens over there. But so they made us agree to like some weird thing. Like, in order to keep our splits the same, not even get an increase, in order to keep it the same, we had to agree to like send their in-house TC companies, like, and we had to
use
agree
all
their
ancillaries.
We had to agree to use their ancillaries for so many deals per year, right? So whatever. That's the point where we looked at each other and we're like, yo, I don't like, if we want to continue to grow, this doesn't make any sense. And I liked that brokerage when we were there. I really did. I liked a lot of what they had to offer. The tech was pretty good. But it came to a decision like, hey, are we really going to pay a brokerage 6 figures a year for a CRM? And I think the answer to any responsible business owner that's trying to scale would be no. So that's when we started to look at other options, solely because the financial model didn't make any sense anymore. So that brought us to cloud-based brokerages, are kind of the only thing that made sense to us from a financial setup. And we were about to go to a different company who has a similar setup, in spite of not really wanting to, just because we thought it was the only option that would financially make sense for our model. So we were honestly, and when I say we didn't want to, the only reason we were considering it is because we were talking to some really, really good people over there.
Yeah.
Like people that we really respected from our KW days. They did business right, like awesome humans. So we were like, you know what? The reputation company-wide, whatever, like we see these people doing it right. We're going to forego it and just kind of trust in them and do it. So we were like all but had that decision made. And then I credit my partner at the time. Like we had a call set up with Real, with a couple people from Real, and I didn't even want to do it. I was so over it at this point, like trying to figure out the transition. I just wanted to get back to business. We finally made the decision like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to go. And I didn't want to take this call. I was totally over it. And he looked at me and was like, hey man, like, don't be a dick. We've had this call set up. Like, let's just hear what they have to say. And we got off that call about an hour later and knew that this is where we wanted to go. So we made the move to Real, but like full disclosure, Seth, I didn't have any of these conversations for at least a year after that. Like we heard the pitches from everyone and we made the decision that, this is definitely where it makes sense financially from our financial model perspective. And we were really excited about that. Mm-hmm. And we loved everyone that we got exposed to and that we were having these conversations with. But like, I still didn't know what we were getting into. You know what I mean? Like this, I was going into this with the full understanding, like, shit, man, I have to do this financially, but this could be a terrible mistake, like for the brand, for the company. So we went in with that full understanding. And I said to myself, because the whole attraction is a big part of what we do at these companies. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone moving their license over to a brokerage until I'm fully bought in. And know that they're going to service us at the highest level.
Yep.
Right? Like transferring your license is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to risk my reputation over, whatever it is per year, per agent, to just get someone over here. And then the next thing they're out of here 2 months later. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. And my reputation's all jacked up. Yeah. So I made a very conscious decision to just dig in, build our business, see how it works for our model, what we can do in our team, and not focus on anything else. And here we are about to be on our 3rd year. And it's like, it's held its end of the bargain for sure.
I was the same way. I mean, I came over a year after you did, and like that was my main thing. I mean, I came over from Remax, so I was not in that Compass KW world, which I think that makes us kind of a good team because we come from like definitely. I came from Berkshire Hathaway Remax. You came from KW and Compass. It's like so we have a lot of experience at all these brokerages. And I actually loved both of my brokerages. They just like for me, I just always think about like where like this little piece of paper that I got in 2015, like where is that best positioned, right? And it sounds like you kind of went through the same thing. And I joined a year ago, and like I mean, people ask me about it, I would talk about it, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, like you have like let's set up a coffee. Like I wanted to stabilize my team, make sure that the service and the client service was tight, and that my agents were stable and like knew where the paper clips were, so to speak. And then it was probably like in November, December, I started just kind of talking to people about it because I've been like, it's lived up to like, there hasn't been like one thing where I'm like, oh, I see it. Oh, okay. Like I see that. Right. Oh, like, I don't feel like there's been one bait and switch. In fact, a lot of the things about the company have been better than there's just so many conversations and like masterminds and training, and like you can just go into any area of the company. Like I was just on with Clayton and Clayton gets his mastermind. I guess it's his monthly mastermind with, I mean, there's like the number one agent in PA was on that call, the number one agent in North Carolina. And then there was some woman in Virginia who apparently has this like amazing like system for this. And they just like, everyone was just like sharing the links. And it's like, you can get completely overwhelmed by it. But the fact is that most agencies or most brokerages, you don't even get access. At least here, you get full access to anything you would ever need to do.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, like the reasons that I thought I was coming over here they're all different now. You know what I mean? Like now being here for 3 years, the reasons why I stuck and the reasons why I love this place, it's all different than why I thought I was coming. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's to speak, I guess we'll get into this now, but to speak on the people, like that's the secret sauce here. When I was with these other brokerages, I feel like it was a totally different career than I'm in right now. Right. And it's so easy to come in as a younger agent and a lot of energy and being willing to totally burn the boats and do whatever you have to do to get to the top. And then you get there and you realize like, man, I'm at the top of this tiny fucking canoe right now. Right. Like this, I don't know anything. Like when we came over to Real and we're exposed to what everyone's doing across the country, it was really, really apparent really quick that I don't know anything, right? About providing the type of service that I should be providing, but B, I have no idea what I'm doing if I really want to scale this thing. And seeing what everyone is doing across the country, like my business is ran differently today because of things I've been exposed to just by being plugged into this community, right? It's not just like, oh, that's a good idea. That makes a lot of sense. I've made serious changes to my entire business because of the things that we learn inside of this community. And, you know, I know that goes on at some other brokerages, I'm sure. And I know that there's a lot of other heavy hitter agents and really good, really, really good business owners in other companies. I just can't believe the amount that everyone is willing to give here and the accessibility. Right. Even when I tell the story all the time, even when Sharon was still in the way that he was doing, like talk about accessibility. Him and I texted for weeks trying to get together. And then he called me one day and said, hey, I'm in Philly. Come bring your whole team to my hotel lobby at 6 a.m. tomorrow if you want to chop it up and jam.
I remember you telling me that story, like when we were talking before I came over, and I was like, it's pretty cool.
He came out, I'll never forget it. Sharon came out of his elevator like 6:05 a.m. And I guess he didn't realize how many people I would be able to get there with an 8-hour notice. He was like, oh my shit, guys. Like I got a keynote in 8 o'clock. He was late for his keynote. He sat there with us from like 6:15 to 8:15, just bouncing questions, bouncing ideas, talking big picture stuff. And like when you say it starts from the top down, it starts from the top down here.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not accidental. This is all very, very intentional. The access that we have to people that can better our businesses and better our lives.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. And I going back to the accessibility, it's just so like I was joking before we hit record, like I was at my old brokerage and I would like walk into an office that wasn't like my own and they would be like, do you have a settlement? You know, they don't like, there's no cross pollination, even within like offices that are 4 miles apart. Right. Let alone like having access to like national, like heavy hitters. And you're right. Every company has huge names, but I have found with just the philosophy of everyone here is very abundant. And I remember I was talking to, I have a friend who's a Glover coach in Boca Raton, and he put me in touch with Sean Mullen in like Annapolis area, and he was at Real, and I just got on. I'm like, hey, like, what's it like? Because he was totally like out of my market, didn't know him at all. I just want like a total overview, and I kept saying like, I just like the feel like of this sandbox. It's like everybody is like, seems really abundant and everyone's like really cool and willing to help. And he's like, and he stopped me and he said, I keep hearing you say a sandbox, but I want to give you a better analogy. He's like, it's like a beach. And you can just like walk down the beach and then you can go in and grab anyone off that beach and they'll teach you everything they know. And then you can just keep walking down. He's like, everybody is here to just dump into you. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
And it has absolutely lived up to the billing, to the point where it's almost too much. Like I could be on masterminds all day.
Yeah.
I always say there's no organism on this planet that likes a shiny object more than a real estate agent. And there's a lot here. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to that point, I mean, you do have to not be careful because everyone here is here to help. But like the great thing about it is everyone here is running so many different models, right? Like you come from some of these other brokerages. It's like, hey, this is how you do things. If you want to scale, this is your next hire. If you want to scale from there, this is your next hire. And this is the playbook that you follow. Here, it's like it is a little bit overwhelming to see how many different ways people have found a ton of success.
Yep.
But it is so rewarding to be able to pick all of their brains and then be able to take it back internally to my business and say, all right, what really is the most relevant to us here in our market with what I'm trying to build with our brand? What makes the most sense? And then honestly, what I usually end up doing is taking little tiny bits of everyone's businesses and then putting parts of them, injecting parts of them into ours. And it's like this rocket fuel that I'm just like not paying anyone for.
Yeah.
It's really, really insane. Just the amount of collaboration. And I know that's like a buzzword with all of these brokerages at this point, but the amount of people that I've been on calls with, or have hopped on calls with me when talking to an agent that is trying to decide where they want to dig in and really commit to their future. The amount of agents that have zero financial incentive to me and everything that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And have hopped on calls with me for hours.
Yeah.
It's almost confusing. And you almost get off like, yo, dude, can I throw you something for this? Like
you need like a fruit basket or something.
Right. And it's just like it's not even a thing. Like
no
one thinks like that.
It's not. So I asked Dustin, who's my my other co-sponsor, and I asked him about luxury and Rafe in Chicago. So Dustin puts me in touch with him. I get on. This guy is on vacation in New Orleans at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And he's like talking to me quietly in his Airbnb. And we're just talking about luxury and like him at the company he was at before. This guy has no incentive. He's not part of my network, not, anywhere near, not part of Dustin's, whatever. And it's just an example. Like I needed to kind of have a better understanding of like kind of his luxury market. Yeah. And so he just got on, and like, that's how I am. And I always say, like, I'm going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in my lifetime, probably millions of dollars by like just doing the right thing. And like, I've been burned by, not just down to like telling people they can't buy this house. I'm like, you can't, like, I could have gone and got my money, but they would have paid a price for that. But also like my partnerships and like walking away from things and not allowing all the junk into my mind. And like, I just want to do business the right way and in an abundant way. And I just want to build cool shit with cool people. We're going to make plenty of money in this life. I don't need fancy cars and big houses and all that good stuff. And every single person here is in alignment with that. Whereas like there's a much scarcer mindset at a lot of these other companies because that's just kind of how they were built. They were very kind of like siloed off.
Yep.
And I also just joined because like I need to be in a better room in general. I was the number one agent at my Remax for like 4 years. And I was just like, I'm not learning anything new here. People keep asking me for things, but I need to go. And like immediately when I joined with you, because you're a bigger agent than I am, like immediately just by like proximity, I had somebody who I was like, okay, that's the next step. But then, Matt is a very small fry, fish in a very big pond where these people are doing enormous amounts of business. And they're like, oh, no, just come to my mastermind. I'm going to like lay it all out. And it's like, usually I would have to get on a plane or go spend like $5,000 on a mastermind to get access to it. And it's just like, come on in, you know?
What do you think it is? Like, why? Why do you think that's different here?
I think the reason is because I think real lends itself in two ways. One is I think that leaders are sharers. They're teachers. And I think that the commoditization and the monetization of all that, I think has like a real like ick factor. When like I hear that you go to certain like real estate conferences and like you have to pay to get into like certain rooms, like certain masterminds and stuff like that. And I'm just like, it sounds like a cash grab.
Yeah.
And I want to be around people who are philosophically aligned with me from a business standpoint. I also just think it's a really healthy model because when you have those people, they tell their friends about it. And they're like, it's truly abundant. It's truly about everyone making it together. And it sounds all like bongo drums and kumbaya. But I think that the reason that this model succeeds so well is because it attracts the right kind of entrepreneurial real estate agent. Where it's not like, hey, I got this big system. Like, how do I like monetize it and like get as many people into my like school platform and I get my like residual monthly fees and all that. And it's like, that's just not the people in this company that are playing at the highest level. They're just like what I said, I'm going to make plenty of money. Like there's like the Clayton Gitzes and the Kofis and all these guys. Like I make plenty of money, man. I want to pour down into people. And I think that's why this model has exploded, is because it attracts like the best, most abundant people.
Yeah, well said. And I think it's, it's tough because like I believe in like a pay to play model, right? Like
to a certain extent,
a lot of aspects, right? I just can't imagine. I just don't, in my opinion, and obviously there's a lot smarter people that feel otherwise, but I just can't imagine an extra layer of when I'm changing a brokerage that I'm not even in yet to make a decision on who I'm going to have access to and who I'm not going to have access to,
right,
based on when I'm not like I said earlier in the conversation, like the reasons I came to Real were very different in 2023 than they are right now in 2026. I can't imagine being pigeonholed to like certain decisions that I made 3 years ago while I'm watching the like other tentacles of this company blow up and do cool shit that now I'm not included in.
Right.
Like
There's
yeah. And I just don't, I don't know. And I haven't been in it. So I could be totally wrong. There could be some benefits and I'm sure I know there are benefits, right? But that aspect of it, the mindset of like, man, there's always going to be some sort of FOMO because there's always going to be someone else joining, doing some different shit that I now don't have access to. Like it's how cool of a feeling is it at Real when you see across the country, some agent that is renowned just joined Real. You know that you now have access to that person. And
that's right.
And to a certain extent, you know what I mean? But like, you now know that their value is going to be transitioned to the company and their knowledge, it's going to be shared. Like, I can't imagine like seeing someone came over to our company and be like, oh shit, like am I going to have access to that? Like who'd they come in under?
Like when's his mastermind? Do I have to pay to get in? Like that.
Right. So I think there's I'm sure that there's positives and negatives to both sides of things, but like, the flexibility that I'm never pigeonholed to be like, hey, I really want to jam with that guy over there and see what he's all about or her over there. Like to not have to think twice about it and understand that we are just kind of all under one roof and row in the same direction is really, really special.
Yeah.
Because that's how it felt in other brokerages, right? It was like, and no one's fault. It's just how it is. Like if me and Seth are in the same office or in the same KW office, Remax office, whatever it is, it's totally broker agnostic. If we're in that same office, Seth's never opening his playbook to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's like I can watch from afar and be like, oh man, Seth's systems, man, like pretty envious. I wish I had some of that shit. And knowing I'm never going to have access to it because I shouldn't. Yeah. I'm in competition with him. Right. I'm in the same office. We're fighting for that, whatever, number one spot out of your local market center, I guess. It's just different, right? So like being able to really feel like you're in business with 30,000 other agents
yep.
is a very different feeling.
The other thing that I want to point out, and this is the other thing that I like. So I don't know if I think I've told you this before, but I'll say it again, is that the way I came into, actually the way I got into this business wasn't through you. It was through Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was weeding during COVID in 2020. And I had my headset on, and I was listening to Aaron Amugastegi's Real Estate Rockstars podcast, and I was listening to, and I found Dustin's Massive Agent podcast, and he was at EXP. He had
Free plug.
What's that?
Free plugs.
Yeah, free plugs. Yeah, I'm going to have Dustin on here too, because he'll have a whole bunch to say. And I actually told him the story again, like, I don't know, like 2 months ago. But I was just listening to stuff. You know, we were one of the only, us in Michigan, we were the only states that were shut down. I didn't have a whole lot to do. I must have clicked on something for Dustin, and I signed up for something, and I kept getting emails like every week, you know, just like, he's like a tide, you know, he just kept sending shit. Now he doesn't do any business. He just attracts and teaches you how to like do stuff through social media. And it was like the end of 2024, or it was the summer of 24. And I don't know. I just clicked on it. It was for team leaders. It was some Ignite thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to Salt Lake. I signed up. He and I were going back and forth on Instagram, and I was like joking with him, like, "Do you feel that?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I just signed up for your mastermind in Salt Lake. I'm coming over there, motherfucker." You know? And he's like,
I remember when you were doing that, because you and I were like talking lightly at that, and then you told me you were going. I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
that's kind of serious about this." Yeah,
yeah. And he and I was like, and we were talking about. He's like, "Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. Like, once you sit on a panel, blah blah blah." And then I said, "Listen, I get it. I get that it's like." It's this thing. It's a magnet to get me, because I know you just moved over to Real. So you got all this like wind behind your back and all that stuff. And I hit send, and then like 3 minutes later, I get a call from a number I didn't know, and I pick up, and it's Dustin. I'm like, "Hey," or he's like, "Hey." I was like, "Hello." It's Dustin. I'm like, "Oh, hey," because I had just registered, so he had my number, and he's like, "I want to call you just to like make a point here. There's like, if I flew everyone out here to Salt Lake City, like a cattle call to get everyone to join Real, he's like, corporate would have my ass." He's like, "This is one of the reasons that I moved from EXP to Real." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Really?" And so I went out. I was like, yeah. My wife's like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "Oh, this guy Dustin. He's telling me he's not going to try to recruit me to Real." And I was like, "Bullshit," you know. So I go out there. 3 days, 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, 40 people, 35 agents at Real, 5 we were like at other brokerages. Not one time did someone try to recruit me to Real. 3 days. Now, no one said, "Hey, you know, when we all get back to wherever we're from, let's hop on a call." Like, none of that shit. They were curious about my.
And you had John Campbell was out there too, right?
I met John Campbell. I had Neil Dingra just basically sitting. Neil was on the main stage of our conference. He was just hanging out for a day.
Yep.
From Forward Academy, and really, really nice guy. And like, I'm just sitting there at the last night, and I'm just like, this is like exactly my vibe. Like, I am not a recruiter. I am not somebody who's going to like try to tell everybody they got to come into my like downline, all that shit. It was just a really cool vibe. And then after that, I think I got back with you, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this co-sponsorship thing. And it's been great. So what is what's in the future for Matt Marino for the Kind Group? What's where are you headed in the next year or two with your business? What's the vision?
It's a loaded question, man.
I know you said yesterday on a story that you have the vision and it's scary or something like that.
Yeah, I can't quite release the entire vision right now. We're gonna grow. We're gonna grow. We found the last few years have really been setting the groundwork with the right people, and making sure that we're dialed in with that. We figured out how to do a good amount of business with the right people. So now it's time to find more of the good people and continue scaling. So we're looking to be around 50 agents by 2027. We're at 16 right now. But that's not just bodies. Like, we need 50 of the good guys and good girls that, you know, align with our values, are ready to do the hard work, and understand that this job and career can be super lonely, but it doesn't have to be. And if you do the right things consistently, find some momentum, you're okay with a lot of delayed gratification, you're going to win, and you can build a pretty damn special life around this. So we're looking to grow with the right people.
Cool.
How about
That's
you,
awesome.
Seth? What's the SLG squad look like for the next 12 months and
The
24
opposite of
months?
you, man. It's like
Yep.
we're ninja, small
Yep.
group, profitable, efficient as fuck. Couple VAs, TC, lots of transactions per agent. I don't want to do the big team thing. I don't. I don't believe that it's my highest and best use is to run
Yep.
like an organization like that. I still love real estate. But I love teaching. I love coaching, but I get a lot of that like in two ways. Every team leader gets that two ways. They can coach and mentor their agents, but they also like getting a couple through a real estate transaction. There's a lot of coaching and mentoring there too, man. And it's like project management, and I'm very like logically minded. I know how to like very sequential. So I enjoy that piece. I like problem solving, but I don't want to do like the big team aspect. So, like I said, last year was all about getting efficient. It was like getting back built and making sure that like our stuff is really honed. We have all of our platforms set up. We do a ton of AI. I actually have agents. I have team leaders who are asking, actually, I've gotten offered to be paid to go over all the AI integrations and everything we have set up. So I don't know if I would ever like coach, but I just want to be able to tell people about like, I don't know. I just want to be able to tell people about cool shit. So whether it's AI or this company or just being a team leader or entrepreneurship, whatever, that's kind of my vision. So it's a little murky. The one thing I do absolutely want is I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to be able to grab my wife and just be like, fuck it, we're going to go to North Carolina for a week and just go.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one drawback of being in real estate is like you're geographically kind of tethered versus like insurance or financial planning or anything like that. So, but that's generally the gist. So,
yeah, I love that. I mean, that's a perfect example. Like Seth and I, we work super close together. We're running two entirely different playbooks and supporting each other while we're doing it. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love that, man.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for hopping on, and we'll keep at it. And the agent, the way I look at it is the agent who should join this company is really just somebody who's like abundantly minded. I actually don't believe that any brokerage, including this one, can over the course of 10 plus years can truly service a real estate career. There are companies that become old and slow. There are companies that change their policies. There are companies that change leadership. And it is a fallacy to think that your license needs to stay in the place that it's been for the last 5 to 10 plus years, because that's just not how business cycles work, especially in real estate that is changing every day. And maybe one day we will move on from this company. But for now, I am home. And like I said, I've told people elsewhere in these interviews, every year since 2018, I interviewed with 5 to 6 agencies. And last year was the first year I interviewed with nobody. So yeah, I feel truly at home. And I know you kind of feel the same way.
I do, man. This is the first place that I said it once and I'll say it again. Like this is an entirely different career that I have now than I thought I was going to have and that I had 3 years ago. I feel like a true real estate entrepreneur at this point. I can confidently say I own different businesses today that I would not own or have started if I was in the same place as I was 3 or 4 years ago. So to your point about who should be here, it is the entrepreneurial minded real estate professional that you're not sure if you want to put 50 signs in the yard a year for the rest of your life. And whether you know the vision, whether you're still figuring out the vision, you should be at a place that is flexible with your business. And it's a true platform for you and your business, regardless of the direction you want to take it, whether that's a solo agent or a ninja squad or a mega team or a wholesaling, flipping business, whatever it is, find a platform that you can be flexible with, and the platform can be just as flexible.
Yep. And I've said that to you multiple times. The most important thing an agent will need in the next 5 years as the American real estate brokerage goes through this evolution and we didn't get into that, but I would be happy to talk to anybody about what I think is going to happen with the traditional brick and mortar aspect. Is that the most important thing that an agent can have is flexibility. That's it.
Agreed.
Not just on flexibility and compensation or anything like that, just being able to go and have people say yes and open doors for you and not say, no, we don't do that here, or this isn't anything that we can help you with. And this is, for me, is by far the best environment for that. So, well, thanks for hopping on, and we'll touch base.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If this was your first time listening, head over to Instagram and check out more content and interviews at Make Your Own Key. There's plenty more waiting for you there. And if you got value from this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, success in this business is up to you. Your key, your move. We'll see you next time.